User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Are you a family caregiver? Are you caregiving for someone who can no longer take care of themselves? Are you overwhelmed? This is Caregiver Solutions Info with Marcia Teal. Marcia will be hosting an hour of true stories and information, tips and updates of the latest research and necessary information in the caregiving field, focusing on you, the family caregiver. An Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert, Marcia has 15 years of hands-on experience at Arden Courts, a leader in assisted living dementia communities here in the U.S. Marcia covers everything you need to know as a family caregiver, especially if you care for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease or other related dementia or chronic illness. If you have a friend or relative that is also a family caregiver, call them now. They won't want to miss a minute. And let them know they can watch on caregiversolutions.info. And they can listen on WNN 1470 AM in South Florida or nationally on the iHeartRadio app. Now, sit back, relax, and learn from our host, Marcia Teal, as she brings information to you that may just be the caregiving solution you need.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Caregiver Solutions Info Show. I'm glad that you're here. We have another wonderful program for you tonight. This show is especially for you, the family caregiver. If you're caring for someone who can't care for themselves, you are an unpaid caregiver, and that is probably the hardest job in the world. It is a job for sure. You're not getting paid to do it. You do it out of love, but it can cause a lot of problems. And if you are a caregiver, you've probably experienced a lot of issues that you can't really deal with very well, such as anxiety and depression, maybe some stress, maybe some sleeplessness. These are things that are very common in caregivers because of all the things that you have to do, all the things you have on your plate, trying to take care of someone else and at the same time taking care of yourself. So we bring experts in the field for you, the family caregiver, to help you navigate all the different areas of caregiving and also to learn about dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So today we have an awesome show. It's going to be about you, the family caregiver, but perhaps even help the person that you're caring for. And we'll get into that in just a moment. So today I have a special guest. His name is Michael Legal. He's the CEO of First Alternatives, and he's here with me to discuss what that all is about. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
You're very welcome. I'm excited that you're here. I ran into you and we started talking about a month or so ago, and I was very interested in what you had to say and about your company. So my first question is, what is First Alternatives? What kind of company is it?
So First Alternatives is a alternative medicine healing company where we look for effective scientific ways to get the body and help with the symptoms, relieve inflammation, things like that, but all natural, like all safe. So no adverse events is our main claim to fame.
So why did you call it First Alternatives? Why did you pick that name?
I think, well, I really feel like the person that came up with First Alternatives there, but I feel like it has to do with, it reaches as, instead of, it should be your number one option, right? Your first alternative for seeking pain relief. And I think a lot of people out there that are going through, I'm speaking to a community right now that goes through a lot and they see this every single day. If I can make one thing to be clear is there are solutions out there that are effective that can help you right here today. And I'm so excited to share what we have to bring to the table.
I know. And this is why you have solutions, and the show is called Caregiver Solutions, so it's a great fit.
What a great fit.
Yeah. Before I go any further, I want to bring on another person from First Alternatives. He's your partner
Yep.
in the company. His name is Brendan Legal, and he's with First Alternatives Better Body as a partner. And welcome to you, Brendan.
Thank you so much for having us on. I'm also here. We have our whole team here to
Yeah.
meet with you and share our solutions. And just to add on, the first option in everything is to experience and total line and carry with that pain, right? The alternative to that, and the first alternative should be finding a solution to fix that pain, right? To handle the underlying, burden that you're carrying. So that was the core message when we tried to get is we're not here to exasperate or hide that pain away, but tackle it and find the core of what's causing that pain with people and present solutions that don't hurt in the long run, but actually help shore up those faculties of those problems.
I know a lot of caregivers, because they're caring for someone with dementia, they don't stop. They are on the go all the time, and basically their body never gets a chance to rest, and that can obviously cause some pain. So tell me a little bit about how what you do is different than what they would call traditional medicine. And when we talk about pain, obviously that would mean someone's taking maybe an aspirin, an Advil, a Tylenol. How do you differ from traditional medicine?
So our goal isn't to hide and to cover up what you're experiencing. When you're going through the traumas of everyday life, when you take an aspirin or ibuprofen, you're covering up what your body is telling you is the problem, right? You're numbing your nervous system to the real thing that you should be answering and helping and healing. You should be listening to your body. So all of our solutions are oriented towards helping resonate the body in a way that improves your natural healing ability without taking away of any of its ability to listen, to understand what's going on. And so some of the things that we talk about, is perfect for caregivers because you are working your hardest and you're giving so much of yourself to help others that it drains you. On a daily basis, you're drained all the time, and it's fatiguing, and it can hurt your over the long run of your life, it can hurt you. So one of the things we always recommend is that you shouldn't numb it. You shouldn't just carry that burden. You should seek additional assistance, find ways that you can energize your body and find ways that you can help your nervous system not only address this underlying burden that you're handling, but supercharge it so that it's ready to take on the burdens of others before you have to deal with your own.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I would say specifically, we look at all the different ways. So we look at your blood, we look at your circulation, we look at your nerves. We have different technologies that stimulate different things like that. Also your diet, we have a food sensitivity test that we came up with that we think is awesome, which plays a huge role in inflammation that no one really talks about. And by doing this and tackling all these different things of your body, we end up solving all these solutions that end up causing people chronic pain every single day.
Right.
And so the thing about it is we were offering these programs all around the nation, and it got to thousands of different practitioners that we were helping with. And we realized that we were doing so good with it that we needed to put this together in one little center, right? And make the price affordable, allow everybody to be able to get access to it. And that's what we've created here with my family, my friends.
Wow.
We're all in it together here.
So, Brendan, you mentioned, of course, chronic pain was one of the problems that can be fixed. What other types of chronic illnesses or other problems or complaints or symptoms that people have that this type of treatment could help?
So to start with, the body is a very complex organism. It's a very complex machine all across the board. There are so many things that can go wrong that it's easier for the body to heal itself than for us to have an external interaction that solves one problem altogether. So the first thing always, when it comes to addressing all the different things we can do, is what are the different modalities that we can touch your life with that help your body heal it faster? Because you'd be dead in 3 days if your nervous system didn't function. You'd be gone if your body wasn't always healing you on an everyday basis. So we need to help your body win that battle. And one of the modalities that we can use on an everyday basis at the First Alternatives is microcurrent therapy, using biofeedback methodology to interact with the nervous system and help reduce the impedance that the nerves go through. And what that actually does is it improves how the body listens to itself from one point to the next and actually helps heal it over time. We improve your functionality and efficiency on a body level, and that translates to your body healing itself. And so we can address all sorts of pain related to, say, for example, neuropathy, sciatica, myofascial pain as well. All these different symptoms, right? Underlying problem is the nerves aren't functioning like they should. So if we improve the efficiency of the nervous system, well, we can tackle that underlying pain.
Wow. So is it mostly all about the nervous system? Is that where a lot of these
Well,
symptoms
one of our
and
modalities.
issues?
So that's why we call it the Better Body Center. Is our hope is that between all of the modalities, there's no way you don't walk out with a better body, and one of the modalities is all about the nervous system and working with the nervous system to get it at its peak functionality. But another modality, like the PMF technology or the pulse electronic magnetic field mat, is solely focused on improving your cellular function so that your circulation has all the necessary energy it needs to essentially filter out and handle the inflammation that you deal with on an everyday basis, right? And so from that solution, you also have another modality, right? So we can keep toppling on to these different modalities, but we essentially, when you come in, we try to figure out what really is ailing you and get to the core of that problem, and then we design solutions around you, customized to you to fit that need.
Okay, so there's different treatments for different issues, basically, right? So you're very specialized in what you're looking at but would you call this like a holistic type of
Again,
treatment?
this is scientific. When we say holistic, this is all science. This is all some of the most greatest minds you've ever imagined that we've come across and got contracts with and built protocols. I mean, thousands of protocols we have access to. So when people are coming in, we're not really diagnosing anybody. We're just treating symptoms that they have. And all of a sudden, when we start breaking away the symptoms, their pain falls away. And they are shocked. In fact, I can actually say this to you right now. 52 out of 52 documented since they've been to the center, pain relief.
Wow.
And I couldn't say that because now we're able to track the outcomes. And I'm so excited to get this going, you know?
Yeah, that is exciting. So first I have to ask, is it painful? Any of it painful?
I'm going to say not really. I mean, sometimes if you are a little sensitive to current, you could basically just make somebody a little easy on the edge a little bit. But I've never seen anybody get hurt from it from a way that they felt like was uncomfortable. It's all about the person, but it actually feels good for the majority of people. I'd say, 90% of them feel like it's really relaxing while it's working.
So no needles?
No needles. No
Okay.
needles.
That's what most people are afraid of. They don't want the needles.
In the PEMF, you really don't even hardly feel as it's working. In fact, if you didn't show them videos of actually what's going on, most people don't realize it until they get back and they go, man, I'm feeling better. How did that happen? You know?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of issues that not only caregivers have, but the person they're caring for, which is someone with some type of dementia. And when people have dementia, sometimes they aren't able to express their pain and they're not able to tell somebody where it's hurting. And because sometimes they can't verbalize, they're going to act out, right? They're going to act out because something is bothering them, their leg, their head, their arm, whatever it might be, but they can't verbalize that. And so as caregivers, people learn to interpret behavior because every behavior tells us something, right, about what's going on. And so this is very interesting because if a person can't tell you, how are you supposed to know what's happening to pinpoint it, right? But it's something like this where it's non-invasive,
Correct.
right? And you're not taking a pill, and it can't be bad for you, right? And it could just help no matter what's
it can
going
only
on.
help. It can only help, which
Yeah.
is what I love about it the most. And I'll tell you this: the things we figured out is we encompass the whole body with our technology as it's working on you, right? So even if they don't know where exactly they're hurting or they can't figure it out, our technology is still going to be effective even without their feedback. We don't need that.
Right.
And that's one of the coolest things when he talked about biofeedback and microcurrent. Our technology will tell us where the impedance levels are inflamed. So imagine you as the caregiver out there. We have these protocols and these devices that can help, that go straight to your home, that you can literally, if they look like they're feeling achy or they're not feeling good, we can show you the protocols that we know are going to work. And these are 10 years we've been in business, tried and true. I'll put the statement on it right now. It's going to work.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like it can help somebody who can't even explain, what's wrong with them or why they're feeling that way or what hurts.
We even had a person write a book. He couldn't speak for 17 years. And he wrote a book called Stroke Victor because he was using the technology and all of a sudden he could talk again. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
And he was working with one of our practitioners in Naples. And there's people like that out there that have done so much amazing things, all we're really doing is telling you that we've kind of just put this all together for you and created this playland for you to come enjoy.
Right. So it's not anything brand new technology, brand new technique. It's been around for a while,
No,
right?
no, in fact, majority of finding all this technology has been probably what I do is what I go look for every year. You know, I'm looking for the best of the best that can really prove. I'm not saying that you can have the studies, which we do have now, but we found this stuff out before we were looking at the studies. We were looking at the anecdotal evidence, the things that, to me, for example, I had plantar fasciitis. And in 7 treatments, my pain was relieved, and I never came back.
Never came back.
And my brother, who's a podiatrist, I called him and I said, hey, man, what's the process for this? He's like, oh, 6 to 8 months. I'm like, it's never come back.
Wow.
And that was with our microcurrent therapy. So for a lot of people that have getting used to us, they've had that one symptom or that one case that they want to share with us, and we end up solving that problem, and it brings in people for life. And we've actually never advertised our company. It's always been word of mouth. We've
Till
grown
today.
Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying. With
Yeah.
that.
So some of the modalities you use have been used for a long time. It's just like you say, you're kind of putting it all together in a package to give the whole body a chance to respond, to be a better body, and that's
Absolutely.
what.
This is something I really want to grow all over because I can keep the price point down where I feel like almost everybody can afford it. And
yeah.
that's really what's key here.
And one of the things, if you're talking about price and people have pain, and we're talking about pills or injections, and that can get pretty pricey too. So this is an alternative, right?
Absolutely.
I wanted you to mention about you're doing something with the VA, and I know it's not really off the ground yet, but mention like what you're going to be doing with them and why.
So it is kind of getting off the ground, actually. We've gotten orders out of 13 VA hospitals that we're working with. So we
Okay.
are getting veterans devices. We are helping veterans. In fact, later on, I would love for you to hear some stories from some of our people that have been working with them. There's some really inspiring things.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to help people that serve our country. And I feel like as a company like here, we go out of our way to make sure that every veteran knows that we thank you for your service, that you matter to us, that you're sitting there right now, wherever you're at right now. We care. We're a phone call away. We want to help. And it took me about 4 years, and I spent a ton of getting involved with all these different locations and trade shows and things. And finally, I had this breakthrough. We finally got a GSA number, which is something to get into. But it's actually on contract now. So all we need to do is educate the VA doctor that they're working with, and we can actually walk them through the process of being able to get a technology that works and is super effective all the time.
So I know a lot of veterans, obviously, they deal with some post-traumatic stress and things like that. So that's some of the things you're going to be helping to alleviate for them?
Well, I've got to give the VA credit here. They're actually looking for a lot of different, they realize that they got to look and they got to make this a little bit better, right? So I would say there's some really encouraging studies that are being done on vagal stimulation and using microcurrent in that specific area. And that is an area we feel like we have probably one of the better protocols that we've developed. And I feel like we're going to be able to prove it because we're starting to do a trial. And once we do this trial and show the effectiveness that we've seen, we're hoping that we're going to be able to allow a lot of people to feel like PTSD, anxiety, depression. I mean, the things I get told all the time, just kind of the reason why we do this, you know, like it's
Yeah,
shakes.
makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes you feel good. When you can make somebody else feel good, you feel good. Did you want to add something, Brendan?
Yeah, so it's not just with, stimulating. A lot of people forget that, scars really, compound an emotional issue.
Oh, yeah.
They confirm an identity, an experience, a situation with people, even though, they're past that point in their life, they're trying to move on and they're trying to, live better, right? And so one of our devices has a significant interaction with scar tissue, and not just the scar tissue, but the fascia underneath that releases it. And the pain related to that scar can be released, and it's a massive emotional catharsis point. And we work with a lot of people on their scars every day, and we talk them through their experience, their emotions they went through, their traumas during that time, and it will actually release the fascia, and that tension that they feel in their scar will dissipate. And it's a huge experience. It's one of the best things we can do for people. And that's why if you're in the VA system, talk about how you have scars. Talk about how you need a machine that can help you with that. And that's something we could definitely assist you with.
I love that because you talked about scars and you talked about the veterans, not only do they have emotional scars from the wartime, but they have physical scars, right? So, you're healing the inside, and by healing the inside, or the outside, they will go hand in hand
Well,
with each other.
It's one of those points you can work with an emotional therapist about getting past a trauma. But it's hard when that trauma is staring you in the face because you either feel it all the time or you can physically see it. And so one of the first things you can do in releasing that trauma, definitely work with your emotional therapist or your psychiatric therapist, but still finding a way to release that scar so you don't have that visual confirmation of the experience could be a massive boost for your emotional overall morale.
I just want to say one of the craziest things you'll ever see, and it happens all the time, is we'll work on a keloid scar, we'll work on a very large scar with it, and we'll go through our protocols with it. And every time that feeling where you have them touch it again and it's smoothed over and it's broken down, like 1 or 2 treatments, every time it's, no way. I can't believe that. How
Wow.
did that happen?
Wow.
It's
So,
fascinating.
so people can pretty much almost see immediate results, right?
Immediate, usually. I would say a lot of the time has to do with hydration, making sure they're hydrated, and a lot of the time has to do with maybe some other things that we build into it. But for the most part, I mean, I'm shocked when I don't get results on those tissues.
Yeah, so for a lot of the scar, and just make sure people at home understand, like when you have a scar, you can have like a deep tissue scar where you see the, you see the enclave where it's like indented, and that's essentially the fascia, that underlying tissue is pulled apart or separated into it. And then you can have, a sacrificial scar, like on the surface level where there's no divot. And while you can, in one treatment get the divot to decrease, even on the surface level scars, you can get that to smooth out immediately in just one treatment. And that's not just where the technology stops too, because if you have, say, a scar internally that you don't see from like concussive force or internal trauma, we work on those scars as well. So that's why when we talk about clearing the spine with our other our other protocols, we get so much change in the body because the spine is where a lot of it gets stored, right? From either trying to structure and stabilize or just over time we reinforce, and our bodies reinforce and structure itself to withstand it. So we work on all types of areas, and a lot of it is amazing to actually see. And that's why we always recommend coming in and trying the technology, because once you have it on, you never go back.
What about insomnia? People that have trouble sleeping, could this help someone like that?
I think the PMF technology is fantastic for better sleeping. I think it's one of the things that people are always surprised. In fact, I have some of my good friends that are always shocked when they'll go on the technology and they'll come back and they go, "That was the best night's sleep I've ever had." And we actually have gotten, because we're doing ourselves all the time, so we're consistently there. So we get used to our sleep habits, right? We get used to that. But for certainly, you're going to see people more comfortable, more relaxed, and having deeper quality sleep also. And remember, the technology, if certain things we have home systems that, even while you're sleeping, you can have it on and working for you and cycling.
At home?
Yes, at home.
Oh, not
in fact,
just-
majority of everything that you see that we put in the center can also be done at your house easily.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
and
you
that's-
teach people how to do that at home.
That's right.
Oh yeah. And that's also one thing is when you say, like, when someone has insomnia, the first question I have is, why aren't you sleeping, right?
Well, because they're a caregiver and they worry too
You-
much, and
you could
and,
have-
and they have and
Gotcha.
they actually sleep with one ear and one eye open in case their loved one gets up in the middle of the night and starts wandering around and goes in the kitchen and gets knives and other dangerous things.
That's because you don't get deep sleep that way.
No.
And you need to get deep sleep to have your body heal.
You
So,
do.
so one of the things I'd say is, and with insomnia especially, it depends on why you are staying up. If it's pain related, our technology can absolutely assist. If you have back pain or, some type of, some people, when the temperature drops, when they go on their sheets, they have pain because it spikes their inflammation, right? And and the body can't circulate as fast, so that pain level spikes. And yeah, we can help with that. Now, the person getting up at the middle of the night, I don't know if we can assist that. The PMF technology, though, will actually help someone stay.
Well,
and
to
they-
relax. I mean,
It's
to
gonna
help
it's
people
gonna help
relax.
the individual patient relax for certain, and that's going to also make the caregiver's life a lot easier,
Oh, yeah.
knowing that they're having deeper sleep.
Yeah, that could absolutely, and it's not like it has to be on for the PMF technology. It doesn't have to be on all night too.
No.
So you can watch over the session, and there's that technology. There really is no sensation that's really detectable. Now you could put it on the higher levels. Now you don't really have a sense for magnetic pulses in the body. You have no way of sensing it. But when you do it, on a lower level, you can have someone who doesn't even know they're being treated, and they can get treated with it. And it's really fantastic because it energizes your body. And there are certain protocols that will make you more sleepful, more tired and fatigued, and that you'll go to sleep easier.
Just
for
by
it.
relaxing and
I
calming.
think that's the best part, because think about it. They could just turn it on as they're about to drift off and go to sleep. They turn it on. The individual is not frazzled. There's nothing going on to them. Wherever they're waking up, they're just waking up in a relaxed state.
Now there are, if we're talking about it, different modalities, there are other protocols that we have. For example, like having ear clips on that
This is really
that channel specific frequencies through the body that help the patient reinforce, and it's kind of like guided meditation almost. It helps you center yourself and reinforce, while also guiding a frequency therapy throughout the body that resonates with your body and internally makes your body calm down. Right? Whenever you have a hierarchy of nervous systems activating, and you're twitching all over the place, or you're hyper fatigued or hyper aware, right? You need to be put into a more passive, calm state to even achieve deep sleep in the first place. So the first thing I would say is, well, you spend 7 minutes with the ear clips, and maybe in a Vasimed Sport, and you could get extreme change.
And again, why this is working, very mellow, very light,
Yep.
very, very hard to even know anything's going on for them. Whereas we know so the treatment itself is easy to get them to do.
Okay, so we've established it's good for caregivers. We've established it's good for people that have dementia, to help them to relax, to help them maybe sleep better, to
Just give them a better quality of life. As they're
Quality
going
of
through everything.
life,
I think
yeah.
Quality of life improvement is what we're always about.
exactly. So are there any conditions that would exclude someone from participating in any of the modalities? I'm thinking like pacemaker, something
Well,
like that.
There's contraindications for each different technology, and we go through making sure everybody's informed and educated on those. But like for certain things like pregnancy, like no one's signing up for a pregnancy trial. Like no one's doing that. Like, say, here, go ahead and try this out.
I mean, yeah, there might be stress, but
there
that,
might be things, and there's other major stuff there. And I guess a lot of what's pretty interesting is that we have practitioners that use between their medical license, they can use their medical license and do a little bit more things. But from a standpoint from us, we like to keep it really safe. We like to make sure they're informed. So pacemaker is one of them for sure. We don't like to really do that unless we sign off the doctors. But we work hand in hands with, so meaning we don't try to not talk to their doctor or not inform them what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably been the biggest thing we've had to learn over the last 10 years is working hand in hand with everybody, because it takes a community to really make change.
So speaking of doctors, and I know you work with all kinds of physicians, does insurance pay for any of this?
So this is interesting. Well, the VA is considered the largest insurance. So I would say yes, right then and there, that's the VA, right? But we actually created our own healthcare coverage ourselves, using the combination of telemedicine along with the technologies. Sorry about that. Along with the technologies. It's called First Alternative Care, and it's something that we created that we like. However, I am more than willing to do and work with any insurances in the future. I have had several approvals before, but it's not mainstream yet, and that's something we're trying to change.
Well, that's the thing too, people are on Medicare and they have different kinds of insurances, and sometimes the insurances have limitations, and sometimes they do want to go off track for an alternative method. And I know that our healthcare system right now is really not designed for all of that, and so I wanted to bring that up because what you're saying is could actually help someone more, but unfortunately it's right now it's not across the board like Medicare covered or anything like that.
And again, doesn't make any sense to me, and this is why we built this company, is because this is all science. This is all factual things that we could show you that are proven. I don't understand it. I couldn't tell you why that is. It's just, right now the money in the system is just not going that way.
Yeah. And so talking about the sleep, right, and the good sleep, people don't want to take sleeping pills, especially caregivers, because then if they get in a deep sleep with the sleeping pills, then they're drugged and druggy, and they can't function, right? And there's a lot of side effects and things like that. So speaking of side effects, are there side effects to any of these alternative therapies?
I'm gonna save this for our person, one of our lead therapists here
Yeah.
to handle it later on and tell you what she's done. But me personally, I have not reported any side effects since I've been CEO for 9 years.
Okay.
I have not personally, and that's our job, that's our role. So if they do come back to us, we've got to report it. We've got to let the FDA know. There's a whole process in place. Guess what? Hasn't happened yet. So.
Good. And that, Michael, was the perfect segue, because right after this commercial break, we are going to bring on one of your therapists, your head therapist, and talk about a lot more and then some. So
She's a special lady.
great. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, you'll want to have a piece of paper and a pencil ready, because we're going to be giving away a free book. And if you might want to write down how to get that. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Feelings of depression, isolation, and frustration are common among persons living with Alzheimer's or related dementias. It's common among those who care for them, too. It takes a lot of patience and courage. It also takes knowing when you can no longer do it alone. At Arden Courts, memory care is all we do. Talk to us. We know. We understand. We can help. Don't let guilt keep you from making the right decision. Visit arden-courts.com. Arden Courts follows equal housing opportunity guidelines.
You are listening to your host, Marcia Teal, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on caregiversolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our national sponsor, Arden Courts. Arden Courts is a ProMedica company, and they have over 50 memory care assisted livings across the United States. And I'm so proud that they are bringing you this show every week for the last 7.5 years. Arden Courts cares about not only the person that has the memory loss, because the people live there and they take care of them and give them quality of life, but they care about you too, the family caregiver, and they want to give you quality of life. And so they're there to help you and support you. And one of the ways they do that is by giving you free resources. So today, just because you're listening or watching on the website, they want to give you this free book. It's called Untangling Alzheimer's. This is the book right here. It's written by Dr. Tam Cummings. This is a wonderful resource for family caregivers. It explains everything that you'd want to know about the different types of dementia, how to handle different situations, complications that might come up. It's really great for caregivers to try to understand what your loved one is going through as they go through the different stages of dementia. This book is free, absolutely free to you, just for the asking. And all you have to do to get it is just send an email with your name, address, and telephone number. And that email address is delray@arden-courts.com. So that's DELRAY at Arden, ARDEN-courts, COURTS.com. Tell them that you heard about the offer on the Caregiver Solution Info Show and that you'd like to get the free book, Untangling Alzheimer's, and they'll be very happy to send it to you. So don't delay and send that email right away. So we've been talking to First Alternatives today, and we're talking about different ways that people can get treatment without necessarily taking pills or having to suffer with a lot of chronic illnesses such as anxiety, depression, pain, things like that. So now, the second half of the show, I want to bring on the other experts that belong to First Alternatives and talk a little bit more about how exactly this treatment works. So with me today in the studio is Brenda Legal, and she is the head therapist at First Alternatives. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, how are you, Marcia?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for being here. I met you and immediately said, you have to come on to the show. when the other partners came on, because I was very impressed with your experience, with how you got into this field. So tell us a little bit about your experience, how long you've been working in this type of medicine, and why you do it.
Well, I became a massage therapist in 1998 and have concentrated always in medical massage because of my family need. So I just really got excited about microcurrent very early on, and I used all kinds of different techniques and modalities, and just really loved. I used the Rife machine, the Dolphin. I used all kinds of frequency specific microcurrent, and I found the microcurrent that we're using to be one of the best.
Okay, so you just put a lot of words out there that I had no clue what you were talking about. A dolphin and something else. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
There are many technologies out there and many studies on all kinds of devices on microcurrent to show the benefits of microcurrent in general. Most of it, what we deal with, is pain management. So although if you Google microcurrent, you'll find that it does so much more. And I just fell in love with just knowing that different frequencies of microcurrent can actually target certain areas of the body better. So using certain protocols, using specific frequencies of the microcurrent, you could get so much better results. And then I have a device that actually does a biofeedback, which responds to the body itself and generate another signal that will actually become normalized as you keep putting current in. We just break down our resistance in the body of what's causing that blockage that's not allowing the body to heal. Once that's cleared, then the body can do what it needs to do. And I can give you a great example.
Sure, I'd love one.
So I love this. This is how I've always explained it to my patients, is I always say, think about I-95.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Right?
I have a vision already.
Okay. And you have an accident, and it may be an hour away where you're going, but you are backed up, and you might be stuck in that traffic for a long time. So in our body, maybe we're taking some kind of medicine, or we're had an accident or a surgery, or we have scar tissue, and now we have a blockage in our body. This device will help smooth out or diminish that resistance. Now the signal can now get to the brain faster, and the body is signaling it needs to release all these neuropeptides, these things that actually will send the healing signals or the healing response that it needs to generate the healing response of the body. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, and it just seems like magic.
It is, and that's what in the very beginning I was very fortunate to be able to work with underneath doctors and surgeons, and I got all kinds of cases that I was like, this can't be true. And they would say, okay, they would send me in somebody else. And I remember one week it was like sciatica, sciatica, sciatica. And I was like, wow. And these people would get well. I mean, they would be out of pain in one treatment. And then I would get the following week, I would get, this person has fibromyalgia, this person has this, and this person has that. And these are labels. These are not, sometimes they're not even accurate labels. They are just, the person has a blockage. And once I've unblocked the blockage, the person experienced pain relief. And so the next thing you know, maybe they weren't, or maybe they didn't have fibromyalgia. Maybe they don't have some of the things that they were told all their lives that they had. So that's just something that we've uncovered, that sometimes we have to start where the pain is, look for the resistance in the body, and then break down that resistance, and then the body starts to maybe do its own thing. So I believe healing is voltage. And there's a lot of books out there. You can Google that, or you can look at that and see. But when we have pain or when we have sickness in our body, it's usually low voltage. So normalizing that voltage in the cell, the cells can start to replicate healthy cells, and things start to get better.
So you mentioned that most people see results from their treatment right away and they don't feel the pain. How long does that pain-free go on? How long does it last? Does it come back and they need multiple treatments, or is there an average, or how does that work?
Well, let's go back to I-95.
Okay.
Let's say
It's all clogged up.
Right. Let's say they cleared up that one traffic jam, but then like 15 minutes down the road, they have another small, maybe somebody got a ticket and everybody wants to see that person getting a ticket.
The
so they slow
rubberneckers.
down. Yeah. But just like the body, if that pain comes back, most likely we haven't charged up the system. Think of the battery in the car that has sit a long time and you charge it temporarily, but you don't charge it well enough. You might not have enough charge in your cells to do what it needs to do. So I would say in some cases we do need more treatment. But these are not very long. This is not something that is not doable. It's very easy to do, and very, like where you're going to start to feel better where you want to do this.
Okay, that makes sense. Absolutely.
I just, everything I see, I'm always surprised. And I never get tired of seeing when I'm working on somebody's scar tissue, or when I'm working on an area where I consider is a blockage, and it start to clear. Because sometimes just clearing an area of resistance, the pain goes away someplace else in the body. And that's always fun to see.
We're all connected, right?
Yes, think of us as like a bioelectric all the way through the body. And then, I had a person, I asked them, is there any scar tissue anywhere on the body? And they had an ankle problem. So the gentleman was saying, no, I have no scar tissue. So I'm like working on the ankle. I'm not getting any results. He says, see, I told you I was like a helpless. I can't be helped. It's like, it's not going to work. I knew this wasn't going to work. And he raises up his arm, and on the opposite area on his wrist is this huge scar. So I'm like, oh, you have a scar. And he goes, yeah, but it's up here. That has nothing to do with my ankle. And I said, oh my gosh, it has everything to do with your ankle. So I released I smoothed out some of the scar in the wrist, and we heard this pop in the ankle, and he has total range of motion in the ankle.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Wow. Well, you talk about reflexology, right? The feet, they say that the feet, there's different areas on your foot that relate to different parts of your body, right? So
Yes.
Again, if you think about that.
And sometimes my intention when I'm working with the microcurrent, I will go to the feet and I will work those reflexology points, and I will get great results just working the feet. So that's how I know that. First Alternatives, we always we were sharing this technology with other therapists like myself, and I had to learn very quickly to go ahead and work with that therapist, whoever it is. If I'm working with an acupuncturist, if I'm working with a massage therapist, an occupational therapist, or a PT, or any type of therapist, I have to be able to show them how they can use this tool with what they did.
In combination.
Yes, so I had to learn the meridians and learn that I can use this with acupuncture points very quickly and just clear those channels. And I can work with reflexology points, and I can work with just massaging the tissue in general. Very easy, just massaging and getting pain results. And that's what was so exciting. And in my personal practice, because I do have some of my own patients I was still doing in-homes with before we opened FA Better Body, I made sure they all had their own devices, and I would show them how to work on themselves. And I do have caregivers, and it does make a difference. It totally makes a difference with their stress and their levels of energy. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I want to get a different perspective. I want to bring on another guest with us. His name is Raj Vora, and Raj is over here joining us on the studio also. He's the actual center manager of Better Body Center, where all of these first alternative modalities are being presented. And so welcome, Raj, to the show.
For having me. I appreciate it.
I want to know a little bit about you, your background, and
Sure.
your perspective as why you want to participate in this company, because you have an interesting background.
Absolutely. So initially, I went to medical school. Long story short, I went into business with my dad. He owns a pharmacy, or we own a pharmacy. I handle the business side, and my dad is the pharmacist there. But I met Michael and First Alternatives, the First Alternatives family, at a pharmacy trade show in 2016. And I got to experience the technology firsthand, and I was absolutely blown away by it. And I was like, I definitely need this for my patients back at the pharmacy, because right now, we see a huge opioid crisis in America, or just the world in general, with doctors overprescribing and, really just masking the pain. They're not really healing anything, and then patients get addicted to these opioids. So being able to use this technology to get patients off of the opioids and actually heal the pain is absolutely revolutionary, and it's why I love this technology so much. It's why I'm here right now. I came down to Florida, because Michael had an allergy program, a non-pharmaceutical allergy program that he wants to implement. And while being here, we've got to discussing about opening a center and really spreading this technology to everybody in the community, everybody we can help. All we want to do is just help people get out of pain, get people in a better body, get people feeling better. And it's a whole community effort, and that's really what we're trying to do here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
absolutely.
that. So tell us a little bit about Better Body Center, where it is,
Sure.
some of the things that people can expect if they go visit you there.
Absolutely. So right now we aren't open yet. We will be open very soon. It's on 911 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach, Florida. Right now we've been offering demo events where some of our friends and families and friends of friends have been coming in and getting treatment, experiencing the different technology, getting to see the center. And we've been offering them a demo session, which is completely free. And you can go to our website at www.fabetterbody.com and see when the next demo event is, schedule a session, come in for a free session. And whenever you come in for a free session, after you receive the amazing results that you'll receive, we will offer you a $150 discount on our FA Better Body signature treatment, which is an hour to an hour and a half long treatment. We go through your whole spine, clear your whole spine of any impedances and inflammation, and kind of bring your body back to homeostasis. And so once you do that, you're going to feel absolutely amazing. It just realigns the whole body and starts to enables or clears all those blockages that Brenda was talking about. And you start to see an immediate improvement. So if you guys are in pain, you guys have any mental issues, depression, stress, anxiety, can't sleep, come down, you have any chronic pain, you have non-invasive facelift procedures that we can do. We can do, contouring, collagen, elastin. It's just so many different modalities that you can use with this technology. It's absolutely fantastic.
Wow, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'll take advantage of that. That's pretty amazing. So you have an actual center down Pompano, right?
Correct.
And it's called the Better Body Center, FA.
FA, First Alternatives, FA Better Body.
Okay. If someone wants to call you, is there a number they can call?
Right now, the current number that you can call is 954-789-2097. We don't have our Better Body line open yet, but that's the number to our First Alternatives office, and we can definitely answer any questions you guys have or schedule out a session for you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So, Brenda, you've been doing this a long time. I'd like to hear another story.
Oh my gosh, I have so many, and I have somebody that has worked on with their. Okay, so, oh my gosh, so
We have about 3 minutes,
okay,
4 minutes.
So
Tell
one
them
of the
about
things.
VA.
And you did go to the VA
I
because
did,
we talked
yes.
about helping the veterans. You have
Yes.
some stories about that?
Okay, so this one gentleman in particular, this is a beautiful story. And so they were doing their own trial. So they wanted me to come in 3 times in a row. And the first treatment, he was out of pain and he started to cry. And the PT, that was the VA PT, he started to cry. And he said, I didn't believe that there was hope. And I was so happy for him, and I started to cry. And then every time I went to treat or went there back, it was the same experience, except for kept getting better and better. And by the 3rd time, it was amazing. He felt so good, and he just couldn't believe it. And everybody was hugging each other, and the PT said that I was not a believer. I didn't think this was possible because he had brought it to their attention through an outside source that he went on his own to get a treatment, and he couldn't believe how well it helped him. And this one PT was willing to listen and to offer me to come in. Well, he did get his unit, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. And they are now working on getting others in that VA hospital more. So it's very exciting. But I was stunned to see the care and how much the therapist there did care and wanted them to get help. It was awesome.
I'm curious, was the vet's pain in any one particular place?
Yes. Okay. So this is another thing that happens. He had a main complaint. Once we addressed that main complaint, he didn't want to stop. He was like, well, can you do this? Can you do this area? Can you do this area?
Do it all.
We just, and that's what we do experience. And, and we do. We just go, the body will tell us where it's needed first. That pain, we don't want to cover it up. We want to address that pain because the body's showing us where it's depleted or where there's a resistance, and we have to go to that area. We have to go ahead and work on that area first. It's telling us where to go.
Yep, your body will tell you, and you just need someone like you to listen.
Well, when they cover up with the pain meds and they go out there and they go do their work, the body is hurt.
Yep.
And you're masking that pain, and then that's where the real injuries come. And
Absolutely.
That's when we really get a call and say, I need help
Yep.
because I really hurt myself.
Well, this is help, y'all. This is a wonderful choice to try something different. And if you've never tried it, I would encourage you to call First Alternatives, and their office number is 954-789-2097. I want to thank you, Brenda, Michael, Raj, and Brendan for being on the show today, all from Better Body, First Alternatives. And I hope you learned something today. I certainly did, and I enjoyed speaking to all of my guests. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I hope you all stay well and get a better body. And you'll feel better too, right? And so tell your friends to watch the show. It's caregiversolutions.info every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Caregiver Solutions with Marcia Teal. Join us next week as Marcia, who has 15 years of Alzheimer's disease and dementia care experience, brings you more needed information to help with the care of your loved one. This show can be seen again on caregiversolutions.info, and questions can be left on the site, which may be used on the program to help others. See you next week for more Caregiver Solutions.
The content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Along the sun-drenched beaches of Boca Raton lies AMP2 Media. We strive to bring rising stars.
User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Are you a